any person you wish. Your worst feeling on earth is to invest them into someone, something, or some situation that obliterates your future. Lying down with another person is your access to creation and your personal Big Bang. It is time when the passion which lies inside of you is so amazing that it can create a whole new life and a whole new team of realities for a person that does not yet exist. This is hardly the kind of thing that should occur during a one-night stand after popping bottles at the club. You mentioned the club. No one deserves to owe their entire existence to the random decision of two people to get drunk and hop into bed with another. Messy choices lead to messy outcomes. Jeffrey? Messy choices, decisions, wisdom. A lot of people are smart, but they're not wise.
Right.
And wisdom has to do with the kinds of decisions you make. You're smart if you can perhaps build a computer, but you make a lot of money. You're not wise if you blow it. Am I making good sense, Jeff?
Absolutely. You know, there's a difference in having a lot of knowledge and being able to apply that knowledge. One, especially when it comes to a subject like this, it's easy to get distracted because we're all dealing with our fleshly desires. But men and women know who are trying to live and walk upright that you have to use your mind to control the decisions that you make, and you want to try to make your decisions for the best. Mm-hmm. And that you have to deny your desires in order to make those hard decisions.
Right, so you're talking about discipline, and you're talking about going against something that is a desire, but perhaps not the best decision for yourself. And sometimes you can say to yourself, that decision I made is one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Omar, I think you want to say something.
You know, I ran into that when I was a student at Vermont College. Second year, I was dating this young lady. I was staying in the projects with my sister, Fowler Homes, over there off of Latham and 3rd Street, Crump. And I was dating this young lady, and we had been together for some months, and then she decided she wanted to get pregnant. We were both staying in the project.
Okay.
And then I'm thinking to myself, I got my future ahead of me, I've got to graduate. So when she said she wanted to have a baby, because she wanted a baby with light skin like mine and curly hair like mine, and then get her, an apartment in the projects, then I began to question the relationship.
Okay.
And I ended up getting out of it because my thinking was, if that's all you want in life, is a curly haired, light skinned baby in a house in a project, then that's not what I want. Okay. You're a long ways off from what I'm looking for.
Okay.
But I think, what I'm looking at is that's what her mother had.
Okay.
And that was all she knew.
Okay.
And I started looking at how can I evaluate a proper mate for myself? Mm-hmm. And that's when I started taking a long, deep look at the people I was going to be in a relationship with.
Okay.
And that's changed my life since then.
Yeah. Okay, look, we have 6 minutes, and we're about to wrap it up. He continues to talk, Jeffrey. He says that your life is a product of a series of investments. The wealth of that life, or the lack thereof, is directly connected to the wisdom and the foresight of the CEO of your universe, which is you. Make every decision wisely and realize that you are making investments every single day with the people you meet and those you choose to trust. Remember that when it is all said and done, you're the one who is responsible for those outcomes. Try not to lose at the game of life. And remember that family planning is one of the most important aspects of the wealth building process. You can get ahead if you want to. And he goes on to point out some organizations, and we'll wrap it up. Girls Empowerment, it says, boosting your own talents. A week-long program where they help young people. Camp goers will be inundated with messages such as "We are who we believe we are," and give all barriers to success the boot while exploring 12 other tenets. It says health and wellness, cultural exposure, service learning, self-worth, self-respect, financial literacy, purposeful living, social graces, social media, safety, academic excellence, conflict resolution, peer pressure, supporting our sisters. Now there may be some things in here, some nuances that we may find to agree with, but it is a point of reference. And say something, Jeffrey, I think it's on you.
Well,
We've got 4, maybe 5 minutes.
this is the last installment that, well, this is a follow-up installment, the third one
Right.
on the subject.
Right.
And I believe when we went back to the first week, of course we're talking about family, but throughout this article, we've also seen another theme in this article where it talks about economics. And it's interesting how he's saying that relationships, he's trying to make a connection between relationships and investments. Well, and I like the way he does that, because really that's one, the family is supposed to be the foundation of any business. That's something that we lost, because when we came over here, once our ancestors made the middle passage over here, we lost all of our economics. So our relationships are no longer based on economics, they're based upon feelings. And you see, in business, they teach you that you need to keep your feelings out of it. So I just wanted to lay that out there. I don't know, I just thought that was interesting.
Okay.
A lot of times our relationships don't work because
We can't control ourselves.
we can't control ourselves. Right. We can't control our desires. We can't control our emotions sometimes. They get in the way of healthy partnerships.
Before the show, I was talking to my son on the phone.
And we're all, excuse me.
Go ahead, continue.
I don't want to speak as if I'm exempt from that. I'm sure everybody has had situations to where, well, hey, I did something or I said something. Well, maybe that situation got the best of me and I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that.
Self-examination.
Right.
Yeah, I was telling you about a conversation with my son about a decision we were trying to make, and awkwardness, inopportune times, and we kind of built a little tension was coming into play. So it was good because he said he was learning how not to get frustrated so quick. Then I said to him, I'm still learning how to be more patient. So these are the kinds of things that we're talking about when we're talking about that whole process. When we talk about retrospect, introspect is what gives us respect for, number one, myself. So therefore I can respect others. Brother Omar, what about this paper we've just finished critiquing?
I think the doctor did a good job. And I know that Black America is changing, and much of it is changing for the better. We have a long ways to go to get back to our cultural roots. And the quicker we get back there, the quicker we can get away from the degeneracy that's plagued the Black family. So I'm looking forward to a new day where we can say we are Black folk from Mother Africa.
Okay.
And we are not tainted anymore by the European models of how to live our lives.
Okay. And last week's show is up on YouTube. And also, we can all go to Facebook and see where we will be posting comments like family planning is the basis for wealth. We'll be posting, well, Facebook doesn't scare me. I'm not worried about Facebook. I see some stuff on Facebook, and I hear some other people talking about Facebook and how they don't do Facebook and the dangers of Facebook. Well, you can control Facebook based upon your own self-examining process. So we'll be able to see comments like that. And I've gotten some feedback about some of the comments that we've posted on Facebook about family, wealth building, and other critical examinations that we've made of situations around the community, across the screen, across the spectrum of the world. Everything from the war in Iraq, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and all of those guys. and right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Police brutality, and we can make those comments and post them to YouTube and Facebook. Brother Omar, we've got a minute or so.
You know, I like Facebook, although I don't have a Facebook page anymore.
What happened?
You know, when I heard read that it was a tool of the CIA,
Okay,
and sometimes I get to be very controversial.
okay, well,
So I have to, you know, go under an assumed name and say what I want to say, because right now we don't have any freedom in this country. It's all gone.
They're watching on Facebook, absolutely.
yeah,
But I don't think
everything is being watched.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's a reason to not post what you want. Just be confident in what you post, and if somebody asks you about it, yeah, I did it, and it's published. I mean, that's who I am, and that's what I believe. But you get into a problem on Facebook when you start posting things that are detrimental to your job security. I know people who have lost their jobs. I know people who have been convicted on felonious charges based upon information that they put on Facebook. You have to be careful. Like you said earlier, you have the power to control what you put on Facebook. So.
Yeah, that takes us back to self-control and working on oneself. Now, this idea, Omar, about lots of people are operating under assumed names. I mean, you can go in to do some research looking for certain, even back thousands of years, who did work, and so you have to ask yourself, what name was he working under? Because I can't necessarily find this particular piece of work. So I think that's an excellent idea. But overall, work has to be done. Teaching has to be done. Also, there's no such thing as, well, let me ask the question. Is there, Omar, such thing as freedom of speech?
Not anymore. I mean, right now, I think there's either 22 or 23 rappers that are right now either being tried or in prison because of some rap lyrics they wrote that kind of mimicked things that happened in murder, homicides. Mm-hmm. And because the prosecuting attorney said that some of the things they put in the music, in the lyrics, match with the incident that happened in the murder, then they must be the guilty party. Mm-hmm. I saw a thing like that on CNN 2 days ago. And that gentleman is fighting for his freedom right now. So there's no freedom of speech. Okay. Anything you say can and will be held against you. And you got to prove yourself innocent. You're automatically considered guilty.
You're guilty
until you prove yourself innocent.
Until you're proven innocent. Is there such thing as democracy?
Democracy has been a joke since they invented it.
Democracy was invented?
It was invented.
So do you know this guy, Jonathan Capehart, on MSNBC? He was talking, do you know? He was talking about, look, I want y'all to join me. Not that I'm so in love with CNN, Fox News, or in MSNBC, I think they do a better job than all of them. Is there such thing as being totally, Jeffrey, objective?
I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna answer that like this. I don't think that it's all the way a good thing to attempt to be totally objective, because that's only one side of the perspective. You have objective and subjective.
Right.
And, sometimes I used to make this argument like. Objectively, if you try to analyze a house objectively, you see the outside of it, you see the roof, you see the walls on the outside, you see the land on the outside, and it might look like a beautiful house on the outside, but you're not going to really know what that house is like or what that home is like until you go on the inside. And the inside, those are the people who have a subjective view.
Okay, so
work view is very
right. Much more work is required. Listen, next week we're going to be talking about black folks and money, black people and money. Next week. And after that, we're going to talk about lynching, the lynching of black people. So next 2 weeks we're set up. We're set up for black folks and money to talk about that, and following up with black folks and lynching. We thank you for coming.
Oh, yeah.
See us next week. Thank you, Brother Isaac. Technician, Love Power.
Try to give y'all a little time.
Yep, we appreciate it.
The only good thing about it, those people that's they out of town, probably in church, and they're by internet again, they can't hear it.
Oh, they can't?
That comes out of Philadelphia.
Okay.
But I'd be careful about that because they may have some folks here. So anyway, they don't call no more.
Okay.
But y'all good though, y'all good. Y'all good.
Yeah, this guy. I don't have a chance. Somebody have a chance? Well, let's see. But that's still gonna.
Y'all doing all right today?
Did he get me?